To all. Okay, today's topic is absorption. Okay, in previous part, in the 15th part, we learned about peristalsis. The next part is absorption. Okay, in human beings, the type of nutrition is holozoic nutrition. Holozoic nutrition includes mainly five steps. One is ingestion, that means intake of food. Then the food is digested, that is digestion. After that, the food is absorbed. Okay, this is the third step. Okay, now I am going to teach absorption. Then it is followed by assimilation, and finally the undigested food goes out of the body, that is digestion. Okay, this video is on absorption, how absorption takes place. Okay, already we learned in the previous videos how food is digested. At the end of the digestion, at the end of the carbohydration, glucose, fructose, galactose are formed. At the end of the protein digestion, amino acids are formed. At the end of the fat digestion, fatty acids and glycerol are formed. How these substances they are absorbed into blood or lymph. Okay, this is today's topic. Okay, this is the part 16. Today's topic is absorption of digested food. The absorption, what is meant by absorption? Okay, absorption is the process by which end products of digestion pass through intestinal mucosa into blood or lymph. Absorption is the process by which end products of digestion pass through the intestinal mucosa into blood or lymph. Okay, you can observe here in the form of equation here lumen. What is meant by lumen? Okay, the space in the gut where food moves. Okay, that is the lumen. And from the lumen, the food enters into the enterocyte, okay, which is present in the intestinal mucosa. Okay, next from the enterocyte, the food finally goes to uh, blood or lymph. I will show you that one. Okay, observe here. Okay, food coming from the stomach. Food is coming from the stomach into which part? It is coming into the small intestine. Okay, once it comes to small intestine, food comes to small intestine. Okay, here complete digestion of food takes place, and here from the small intestine, the food is going to enterocyte. Okay, this is the enterocyte present in the intestinal mucosa, and from this cell, the food is finally going into the blood stream. If food is absorbed finally into the bloodstream. Okay, this is absorption. Okay, some of the food metals may enter into the lymph also. Okay, that is the meaning of this point. Absorption is the process by which end products of digestion pass through the intestinal mucosa, that means enterocytes present in intestinal mucosa, into the blood or lymph. Okay, next, how does it occur? It is carried out by passive and active mechanism. Okay, how does it occur? It is carried out by passive or active mechanism. Okay, how different substances are, what is meant by active and passive mechanism? I will show you. Okay, active and passive transport. Okay, transportation of food occurs by two methods. Okay, transportation of food occurs by two methods. One is by active, other one is passive. Okay, you may know the meaning of the active mean. Okay, here it needs energy. The transportation by active method requires energy, and the transportation by passive does not require energy. Okay, based on the energy requirement, it is divided into two types. The active transport does not require energy, Whereas passive transport, okay, does not require energy. Active transport requires energy. Okay, this active transport is further divided into two types. What are they? Primary active transport, and secondary active transport. Okay, what are the two types of active transport? Primary active transport and secondary active transport. Okay, primary active transport uses energy, whereas the secondary active transport does not use energy. Okay, what are the two? Primary active transport and secondary active transport. Primary active transport does not require energy. Primary active transport requires energy. Secondary active transport does not require energy. Secondary active transport depends on primary active transport, but it does not require energy. Okay, next one is a passive transport. Okay, now I am talking about this one, passive transport. Okay, in the passive transport, okay, it can occur in three ways. Here, no energy. Energy is not utilized in the passive transport. Okay, example, simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion, and osmosis. Okay, simple diffusion, here no carrier is required. But in facilitated diffusion, carrier is required. And in osmosis, okay, solvent moves across the membrane. Solvent means water. Okay, water moves from, okay, through a plasma membrane. Water moves. Okay, that is also passive. It does not require energy. Okay, simple diffusion, passive transport is of three types: simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion, and osmosis. Okay, simple diffusion, the difference between these two: simple diffusion does not require any carrier. For example, in our lungs, there are alveoli. Okay, gases are diffused through across the alveolar membrane. Okay, there no carrier is required. And facilitated diffusion, okay, some carrier is required. And for osmosis, what moves in osmosis? Water moves, okay, in the osmosis process. Okay, this is the broad view about transportation. Transportation is of two types. What are they? Active transport and passive transport. Here, it requires energy. It does not require energy. Transport but secondary active transport depends on primary active transport, but it does not require energy. In order to carry out secondary active transport, primary active transport is important. First, it has to take place, and based secondary active transport takes place. But secondary active transport does not require energy, but to transport, why we are using here, okay, active here, even though energy is not required, because it is indirectly depending on an energy requiring process, that is primary active transport. And passive, no energy is required. It is of three types: simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion, and what is another one? Osmosis. Hmm. How absorption of glucose and galactose. Okay, now I'll come to the third point. Monosaccharides such as glucose, galactose are transported into the cells of the villi via secondary active transport. Okay, this topic is a little bit difficult compared to previous topics. Okay, you have to focus attention here. Okay, listen carefully. Monosaccharides such as glucose and galactose. Okay, we learned how these glucose and galactose are formed when lactose is is converted by the action called action of enzyme called lactate. It is converted to glucose and galactose. Okay, or disaccharide called okay, maltose is converted to glucose and glucose. Okay, monosaccharides such as glucose and galactose are transported into the cells of villi via secondary active transport. And coupled with Na plus, and from there, that means from the cells of the villi there into the blood by facilitated diffusion. Okay, they enter into the blood. Here into the cells means, into the cells of villi means into the enterocytes. I will show you this one here. Okay, glucose and galactose, which are monosaccharides. Now they are, where are they? They are in the lumen of the gut. They are in the lumen of the gut. From the lumen of the gut, they are moving into the cells of the villi. Cells of the villi. Okay, by which process? Secondary active transport, and with the help of Na plus sodium ion. And from the cell, okay, now they are moving into the blood. Okay, they are moving into the blood. Okay, in this way, absorption of glucose and galactose occurs. Okay, glucose and galactose by secondary active transport with the help of Na plus ion, they move into the cell called enterocyte, and from this cell by the process called facilitated diffusion, and finally they enter into the blood. Okay, in this way, absorption of glucose and galactose takes place. I will show you here. Okay, this is the from the stomach, the food is coming to the small intestine where digestion is completed, where most of the digestion takes place, where most of the absorption also takes place. Okay, in the small intestine, this is the lumen part. This is the lumen where these all are present. Okay, malt. Okay, there is glucose, galactose, fructose. Okay, these all are present here. Okay, here malt is acting on the maltose, and it is converted to glucose and glucose. Sucrase is acting on sucrose, it is converted to glucose and fructose. And lactase is acting on lactose, now it is converted to two monosaccharides called glucose. Here observe, these are the disaccharide, this is the disaccharide, this is the disaccharide. Okay, this disaccharide is divided into, here the bond is broken down. The bond is broken down. Okay, as a result of when the bond, it forms two monosaccharide. Okay, now they are coming from the lumen. Okay, they are coming from the lumen. They are coming into the enterocyte, means cell. From the enterocyte, they are entering into the blood. Okay, the glucose and galactose. I am talking about these two, glucose and galactose. They are moving from where? Lumen into this cell. Into this cell. This is the one cell here. Okay, this is one cell. Okay, they are moving into these cells by which process? Secondary active transport coupled with Na plus ion. Na plus. And from enterocyte they are entering into bloodstream by facilitated diffusion. What is that? Facilitated diffusion. Okay, in this way the absorption of glucose and galactose occurs. Okay, you can observe here, these are the villi which help in absorption. Okay, this is the lumen of the intestine. Here you can observe the villi. Okay, some part shown here. Okay, this is the magnification of this part. And if you observe again this part here, the structure of this these villi. Okay, you can observe here, this is one villus, this is one villus. And if you part of the villus, these are the cells with brush border. Here this is a simple columnar, simple columnar epithelium. Here the cells have brush border to increase surface area. Okay, now the absorption from the lumen. Okay, they move into, from the lumen the food, okay, move into these cells, enterocytes. From the enterocytes, the food enters into the lumen of the blood capillary. It enters into the blood. Next one, absorption of carbohydrates. I am showing here. This is glucose and galactose by secondary active transport with the help of sodium ions. Okay, they are moving into the lumen. Okay, you can also observe here. This is the intestine, lumen of the intestine. Here there are glucose. Here there is a glucose and galactose. Okay, this is the fructose. The glucose and galactose are entering into the intestinal cells by secondary active transport with the help of sodium, and finally from here it is entering into the bloodstream by which process? Okay, facilitated diffusion. Next, what about the fructose? Okay, fructose, how fructose is observed? Okay, observe here, this is the fructose. Okay, fructose with the help of some carrier. Okay, it is moving into the cell. This is the cell called, this cell is called enterocyte. It is moving into the enterocyte. Okay, you can also observe here fructose. This is the fructose. Fructose by facilitated diffusion. Facility, very important fructose. Fructose, it was asked in previous NEET exam how fructose is observed. Okay, fructose is from the lumen of the intestine. It is coming to the intestinal cell. This is a enterocyte. These are the enterocyte, and from here it is moving into the bloodstream. Here also there is a facilitated. Okay, this is also by facilitated diffusion. Okay, in this way, the end products of carbohydrate digestion, that is glucose, galactose, fructose, are finally absorbed into the blood stream. They all are come. They have come. They have come finally. Okay, the end products of carbohydrates have entered into the blood. That is absorption of carbohydrate. End products of carbohydrates. Yes, substances such as fructose is observed into by facilitated diffusion. By facilitated diffusion, okay, substances such as fructose is observed by facilitated diffusion from the intestinal epithelial cells and is transported to the blood by facilitated. Both are facilitated. And transport of water. Okay, transport of water. How transport of water takes place? Okay, transport of water depends upon osmotic gradient. Osmosis occurs by a process called osmosis. Next, absorption of amino acids. Amino acids are actively transported or by secondary active transport with Na plus from they enter blood capillaries by facilitated diffusion. Okay, observe here amino acids. Where are they present? In the lumen of the gut. Okay, by passive active, primary active transport or secondary active transport with Na plus ions. Okay, primary active. Okay, observe this point. Amino acids are actively transport, that means by primary active transport method or by secondary active transport, secondary SAT, secondary active transport with Na plus from there. Okay, now they are moving into the enterocyte. From there they enter blood capillaries by by facilitated diffusion. Okay, that's okay here. Okay, they entered into the enterocyte. From the lumen they entered into the enterocyte by primary active transport or secondary active transport with Na plus, and from the enterocyte they are observed into the blood by a process called facilitated diffusion. Okay, in this way, okay, amino acids are observed. What about short chain fatty acid? Okay, the short chain fatty acids diffuse into the intestinal epithelial cells. Okay, the by process called here, what is the process? Diffusion. Okay, short chain fatty acids diffuse into the intestinal epithelial cells. What do we call them? Enterocytes. And from there into blood capillaries again by simple diffusion. Okay, short chain fatty acids. Short chain fatty acids are, okay, observe here, short chain fatty acids are, okay, by a process called simple diffusion. Okay, from lumen they come to enterocyte, from the enterocyte they enter into the blood. Okay, that's about the absorption of short chain fatty acids. What about long chain fatty acids? The long chain fatty acids and glycerol, being insoluble in water, cannot be absorbed into the blood directly. Okay, first they move into the lymph, from there in finally into the blood. Okay, they are first modified into small droplets called micelles, which enter the intestinal mucosal cells by diffusion. Okay, observe here. Okay, these bile salts. Bile salts will entail taurocolate and glycocolate. They help in emulsification of fat. Mm. Micelles contact here bile salt. This is the bile salt. This is the fatty acid and glycerol, and it is coming contact with the plasma membrane of the enterocyte, and finally they entered into this cell. Okay, this is the epithelial cell, intestinal epithelial cell. It is called enterocyte. They entered into the enterocyte. Okay, they are first modified into small droplets called micelles. Okay, they are first modified into small droplets called micelles, and then what happens? And which enter into the intestinal mucosal cell. Okay, it entered into the intestinal mucosal cell. This is the intestinal epithelial cell, which means intestinal mucosal cell means intestinal epithelial cell or enterocyte. By which process here? By simple diffusion. Okay, what is the process involved here? Simple diffusion. Okay, in the intestinal epithelial cells, they are formed into very small protein-coated fat globules called chylomicrons. Okay, now their structure is modified here. You can observe. Okay, a protein coat is formed around them. Now it is micron. What is that? Chylomicrons. The intestinal epithelial cells. Okay, these cells, they are formed into very small protein coated fat globules called, what we call them, chylomicrons. Now these chylomicrons are transported into these chylomicrons are transported into the lacteal, that means lymph capillaries in the villi by exocytosis. Okay, these chylomicrons are transported into the lacteal. Okay, this is the lacteal. What is meant by lacteal? Lacteal is the lymph capillary present in the villus. Okay, inside the villus, there is a lymph capillary. Okay, that lymph capillary is a part of lymphatic system. Okay, that lymph capillary is named as lacteal. Now the chylomicrons are entering into that one. Okay, this fat digestion, long chain fatty acids absorption is little bit complex compared to remaining. Okay, you have to pay attention. These chylomicrons are transported into the lacteal. What is meant by lacteal? Very important one. Lymph capillary. What is present in the lymph capillary? There is a lymph is present. And what is present in the blood capillary? In the blood capillary, there is blood. Similarly, in the lymph capillary, there is a lymph. Okay, these long chain fatty acids are not directly absorbed into the blood like glucose, galactose, fructose, amino acids. They are directly absorbed into the blood. Why these long chain fatty acids are going into the lymph? Because they are insoluble in water. Okay, that's why first they are moving into the lymph. From the lymph, finally they go to the bloodstream. Okay, these chylomicrons are transported into the lacteals, that means lymph capillary present in the villi, by which process? Exocytosis, that means it is coming out of the cell. Exo, outside. Cyto means cell. By, and why they cannot enter the blood capillary? Here blood capillary is there. This is the blood capillary. They are not entering into the blood capillary. They are directly entering into the lymph capillary lacteal because they are insoluble in water. Okay, now the lymph vessels ultimately, okay, now it enters into from the lymph capillary. They move into the lymph vessels, Ultimately, they release the absorbed substances into the bloodstream through left subclavian vein via thoracic duct. Okay, observe here. Okay, this is the lacteal. This is the lacteal. Okay, into which chylomicrons are observed. Okay, these chylomicrons observed here. Okay, this is the inside this lacteal. What is present? Lymph is present. Very very important. And from through this lymph, okay, this is the lymph vessel. Okay, capillaries and join and form lymphatic vessel or lymph vessel. And these several lymph. This is one lymph. This is the lymph vessel. Several lymph vessels are joined for and form thoracic duct. Thoracic duct is the largest lymphatic duct. Thoracic duct. And this thoracic duct, now the chylomicrons are passing this through one and finally entering into one vein here, which is present here at your left shoulder region. Okay, that is called as a left subclavian vein. We also have right subclavian vein. Okay, this is the okay left internal jugular vein. This is the left subclavian vein. Okay, where these two are joining, this is the left jugular vein, that means which is coming from our brain. Okay, which is bringing deoxygenated blood from the brain, that is called okay internal jugular vein. And this is the left subclavian vein. Okay, now these chylomicrons are finally coming into the blood present in the left subclavian vein. Okay, in this way, the long chain fatty acids ultimately they reach the blood circulation. Okay, they first modify into small droplets called micelles, which enter into the intestinal mucosal cells by simple. First, they enter into these cells by which process? Simple diffusion. Then protein coat is formed. Then they transform into chylomicron. Chylomicrons enter into the lacteals, which is lacteal is a part of lymphatic system. In the intestinal epithelial cells, they are reformed into very small protein-coated fat globules called chylomicron. These chylomicrons are transported into the lacteal lymph capillary of in the villi by which process? Exocytosis. Okay, the lymph vessels ultimately release these substances into bloodstream through left subclavian vein via through left subclavian vein via okay, through into the left subclavian vein. It is going via thoracic duct. Okay, right. These chylomicrons, glycerides, are broken down to fatty acids and glycerol. Okay, in the blood capillaries, not in the lymph capillaries, in the blood capillary, these chylomicron triglycerides are broken down to fatty acids and glycerol by the action of an enzyme called lipoprotein lipase. Okay, where is this? It is present. It is present in the endothelial walls. What is meant by endothelial wall? The simple squamous epithelium present in the blood vessels, in the wall of the blood vessel, the innermost layer in the blood vessels, artery and vein, and the capillary is made up of simple squamous epithelium. The simple squamous epithelium present in the blood vessels and blood capillaries is called endothelium. In the walls of the endothelial cells, there is a enzyme lipoprotein lipase. Lipoprotein lipase. Okay, earlier we learned three lipase: gastric lipase, intestinal lipase, pancreatic lipase. This is another lipase. Okay, what this lipase, lipase act on lipids. Chylomicrons, listen this point, these chylomicron triglycerides are broken down to fatty acids and glycerol by the action of enzyme lipoprotein lipase present in the endothelial walls, and that the fat, now these two fatty acids and glycerol diffuse into the adipocytes. Adipocytes present in the adipose tissue is a fat tissue which consists of cells called adipocytes or fat storing cell, and also into the liver for storing neutral fat or tissue fat. Okay, there in our body, okay, that fat stored as neutral fat or tissue fat in those tissues. And vitamins, or vitamins are generally absorbed by a process called simple diffusion. Okay, vitamins are absorbed by a process called simple, okay, diffusion. Okay, vitamin B12 is actively absorbed into in combination with the Castle's intrinsic factor. Vitamin B12 here it is in a different way it is absorbed into the blood. Okay, actively absorbed in combination with Castle's intrinsic factor. Can you remember which cells produce Castle's intrinsic factor? Okay, what do we call those cells? Parietal cells are auxintic cells. Where are they present? They are present in the stomach. They are present in the stomach. Absorption of substances of substances takes place in different parts of the gut, like mouth, stomach, small intestine, and large intestine. Absorption also occurs in our mouth. Absorption takes place in stomach. Absorption takes place in small intestine. Absorption also takes place in large intestine. However, the maximum absorption takes place in small intestine. Very important point. Okay, however, maximum absorption and absorption of end products of digestion occurs in small intestine. Okay, this is the box given in our state textbook as well as the NCERT book. Okay, what are absorbed in our mouth, what are absorbed in our stomach, what are absorbed in our small intestine and large intestine. Okay, these are the list of substances which are observed. Okay, mouth. Certain drugs coming in contact with the mucosa of mouth. In our mouth also there is a mucosa. Okay, there are some tablets which you do not swallow. You keep in our mouth. They are okay, and you do not swallow them. Doctors advise you to keep it in your mouth. Okay, when you keep those tablets in your mouth, what happens is they directly enter into the bloodstream from your mucosa present in our mouth. Okay, certain drugs coming in contact with mucosa of the mouth and the lower side of the tongue are absorbed into the blood capillaries lining them. Next, mouth drugs. Certain of water takes place in stomach. Simple sugars like glucose takes place, and absorption of some medicines also take place. It is not given here, but it is given in the summary. And absorption of medicines also takes place, and absorption of alcohol also takes place in the stomach. Next, come to small intestine. This is the principal organ for absorption of nutrient. Most of the digestion is completed here, and the final products of digestion is completed here, and most of the absorption takes place here. And the final products of the digestion such as glucose, fructose, fatty acids, glycerol, amino acids are absorbed through mucosa into bloodstream and lymph. Next, come to large intestine. Absorption of water, some minerals, and drugs takes place in large intestine. What are absorbed in large intestine? The absorption of water, some minerals, and drugs takes place in large intestine. Okay, that's the end of the absorption part.